All right, just give it about 1 minute, let a few more people jump on in here, and then we can go ahead and get started. All right, Gabe, how are you feeling? You ready for it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, sounds good to me. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start to kick things off here. A few more people get in, that'd be awesome. Let me see. First and foremost, just so people know what to expect for today's AMA, we'll go ahead give a light introduction to the project. Well, first and foremost, we'll give a little brief introduction, Gabe and I, of ourselves. Go ahead. We'll talk about the project, a brief overview about what InvArch is. We'll share about some of the exciting things that we're building right now. Probably go back and forth, talk about a little bit of alpha here and there before we transition to opening up to community questions. So excited for today. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff that we've done the past month, a lot of stuff looking forward to at the month up ahead. So I'm excited to go ahead and dive in and get down to it. So first and foremost, I'll introduce myself. For those who don't know, my name is Dakota Barnett. I am one of the founders of the InvArch network. Um, I guess my main role here is CEO, so just kind of handling the business side of things, a lot of project planning, background, you could say, kind of a mix of job experiences in the past, but my main one that really brought me here today is my past work in U.S. politics and government, and kind of my frustration with that whole system. Uh, but yeah, big passion for government, which really kind of ties into the work that we do for DAOs and governance there. Um, it's got to say, like ever since coming into Web3, it is around every single corner, and no matter what the obstacle, it has been the single best decision of my life. There's just so much fulfillment in building out InvArch that I don't believe I'd be able to get anywhere else in life. So yeah, really, really grateful for the opportunity to be here, which is really made possible thanks to the community, thanks to everyone who has supported us so far. But yeah, that's me. Gabe, you want to give a little intro on who you are, sir?
Yeah. So, yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm Gabe. I'm a co-founder and CTO at InvArch. And from my background, I have been always working in tech and development. And I got into Web3 directly in the Polkadot ecosystem. I have previous experience as a lead developer in Pokedex. And then from there, we started InvArch, and then we all got together into this awesome project that we have now. We evolved a lot from the beginning. We started developing our tech in slightly over a year, and now we have a network in Kasama, and we have a network almost launching in Polkadot, and our protocols are developing very quickly too. And yeah, a lot to look forward in the future. But let's start the AMA.
So I guess thank you, Gabe. With that, I'll go ahead and give a light overview of the InvArch network, what the project is, and what it is that we're aiming to achieve. So, first and foremost, the InvArch network features a suite of multi-party ownership, collaboration, and monetization protocols, which are designed to service DAOs, dApps, and chains on the Polkadot relay. So, chains within the Polkadot ecosystem. And what this means more in simple terms is when it comes to aspects that regard, multiple individuals sharing ownership over an asset, or sharing, let's say, ownership in regards to their governance, their voting weight over an asset, so their voting weight within a DAO. When it comes to instances where there are multiple individuals that are either, they're working together to build something or they share ownership over something, we seek to provide a kind of a tech stack full of solutions around this area so that other developers don't need to continuously solve for these problems time and time again. That way, they can really focus on the true service that they're aiming to provide. And if, like I said, if it's not a DAO that you're looking to launch on the InvArch network, then for developers providing this suite of tools, this suite of solutions, so that they can get going and get building faster. But first and foremost, really what the InvArch network is all about is housing the economy of DAOs, the future economy of DAOs, of decentralized autonomous organizations. And it's our goal, it's our mission, really, to provide a layer one chain that is highly optimized, essentially to become a super chain for DAOs. So the ability to easily launch DAOs, the ability to easily construct and define complex multi-layer governance organizations. So you can define, let's say, a main DAO. You're able to then define a sub DAO. Say this is your marketing department, another sub DAO, which is your developer department. And from the core of that DAO, you have your treasury funds, but then the ability to direct those funds to sub treasuries, which are respectively linked to those sub DAOs that I mentioned. Taking things further, able to then have the ability for people to list open roles in DAOs, the ability for using on-chain DID solutions, the ability for users to actually build up verifiable on-chain resumes and skill sets, which can then be factored in when they're applying to to join these DAOs. And also, like with Tinkernet, kind of creating this economic underbelly of support that helps to kickstart DAOs and get them going, get them off the ground. And this is all driven by the community, which is rather than directly through governance. We kind of blend the act of governance and staking into one, to where as individuals are staking towards projects, it's the equivalent of them essentially voting towards that project, and kind of giving their nudge of support for it to gain funding from the protocol. And this all goes towards one larger system. So helping individuals to get those DAOs kickstarted, get them off the ground, providing a way to where individuals who stake on the network are able to choose which DAOs essentially that the network, in a sense, kind of invests funds into. Obviously, with no actual return, not real investment, but investing in itself, really, like investing the network, investing in itself, investing in these projects. That way, by helping giving them fuel, they can grow. The services that they provide on the network can expand as well. And there's hopefully, this really positive reciprocal effect where individuals who are staking on the network are also able to directly drive the growth of the network. And as they're driving this growth, it expands the use on the network, which drives activity, which drives more daily active users, etc. And it's really the big system that we're looking to push there. A unique thing about what we're building is, so in the end, the InvArch Tinkernet, which is one separate blockchain, will actually be owned and governed by the InvArch network chain. So essentially through Varch token holders. Tinker is the token, the native token of the InvArch Tinkernet. And that's really seen as like the economic bloodline for the network. It is what helps to fuel, like I said, getting DAOs and everything, getting them kickstarted, but also across both networks on-chain transactions, and also as kind of a dividend allocation for individuals who participate in on-chain governance using the Varch token. Which brings me back to Varch. Varch being the main token that is used to govern both of these networks. This one system, and again, this one system that we're working really hard to achieve, to build out for everyone, is just a network where anyone anywhere across the world, even as simply as just from their phone, with a few clicks, can go ahead, set up, define their DAO, launch their DAO, and with all that, open up opportunity to others who have the skill sets that are pertinent to that DAO's openings, and really helping to just accelerate the rate at which, as a global community, that we're able to innovate, that we're able to solve problems, that we're able to help bring ideas to life, help bring organizations to reality, and help them to achieve their goals. And so, yeah, really excited for this. I'm 100% down to my core believe that DAOs are the absolute future. I believe that they're going to be a massive, massive, massive part of our future, of our children's future, and so on and so forth. And really, one day, I think it's going to be quite normal, very common for someone. They wake up and it's like, yeah, I have a job, I work at this DAO, and the freedom that comes with that, the freedom of opportunity, economic opportunity. And so we're really excited to bring this to the forefront and just make this a reality for everyone. With all that, though, we have been working on some really awesome solutions to bring all of this together. First and foremost, we built out our IMB4 protocol, which helps to define the on-chain primitives. They are NFT-backed primitives, which help individuals, or which are used so that individuals can construct and define their DAOs. Um, these NFT-powered primitives are also the foundation for which then we build out things such as our Saturn multisig solution. which is going to be extremely powerful. I'm really, really excited for this. The best way, as far as like, what's something we could point to that some people could already be familiar with, and we would point to Gnosis Safe. But I really can't stress this enough that what we're building is 10 times better than Gnosis Safe. And the really beautiful part about this is Saturn, of course, is going to be really powerful multi-sig solution available on the InvArch network. But because of, and really shout out to Gabe here, the brilliance of how he's designed it, is we're able to service the power of Saturn multisig almost natively across the Paraverse, across the Polkadot ecosystem to other parachains, so that then our multi-sig solution and the experience that it provides on our chain can be a shared experience across the entire ecosystem. And it's just a really, really fluid, really, really awesome design. I don't know if Gabe, if you want to like go in on that. I know we've made a lot of ground over the past few weeks. I don't know if there's anything you're kind of excited to share on that front. We're just really, I mean, anything at all if you want to share. We've been doing a lot this past few weeks.
Yeah, so a lot of what I've been designing for Saturn to allow for XCM execution is actually going to end up being super powered by the release of XCM v3. Is XCM v3 introduced a lot of cool tech to the protocol, and it allows us to do a lot more than we previously planned to do. For example, one simple thing that it seems kind of obvious, but we couldn't do before is with XCM v3 we can actually look back into what we executed and get information back, like status of execution, for example, which means that we can more natively integrate XM execution in other chains by, for example, if let's say data execution, that call that you made in a different chain failed, we can actually fail the call and transmit back that data to Tinkernet, which for the end user, what that could look like is as if you were just making a normal execution, normal call. You get the status back like if you were making balance transfer, for example. It doesn't, for the end user, the goal here is to use all the technology so that these calls actually seem like they're running in the local chain. That is one of the big issues that we have in the parachain model that you won't have in like Ethereum, for example. Uh, Parachain model is great for scaling, but it introduces an issue, which is that all these chains are separate entities. So you have to find a way to provide good user experience while still understanding that all these things execute separately. All these balances exist in different chains. All this data is separate. So mainly on a condensed explanation, what we're trying to achieve here is with the DAOs in Tinkernet to provide a unified user experience that that makes users actually feel like they're executing everything in a single big blockchain instead of all of these separate and autonomous blockchains themselves.
So I just want to also like highlight how like really major this is too in terms of user experience. Like whether it's immediately clear or not, this is a really huge thing. Not just for InvArch, but really for the whole ecosystem. And the reason for that is it's like over on ETH, over on Ethereum, I will continue to argue that there seems to be this disconnect with, I would say, financial reality. You know, they got the fees down to like $3 or $2 a fee or a transaction, but for the average person, I just want to argue that's still kind of a lot per transaction. But on the other hand, that's one of the beautiful things that we don't really have to worry about over in our ecosystem. But on the other hand, over on ETH, all of those DApps that are launched on Ethereum, they're all launched on a single chain. So they're able to communicate and interact with one another, all these different smart contracts under this shared environment. Whereas in the Polkadot ecosystem, we have all these different layer one chains, and they're building out their own solutions. but the solution that's deployed on one chain isn't necessarily then available on another chain, because those two services aren't deployed on the same network overall. But with XDMV3, we can really kind of ultimately close that gap there, to where depending on how the solution is designed and implemented, we're able to provide it in a way so that individuals can have very similar experiences in the Polkadot ecosystem, such as they're already used to with working across multiple different dApps over on more monolithic chains such as Ethereum. So this is going to be a really, really huge thing, and I'm just, like I said, I'm really excited for it. I can't underscore it enough. The user experience side of this is going to be like a big like breath of fresh air that I'm really excited. Really, really excited to see come to the forefront. And with that too, also a lot of partnerships that we'll be seeing coming about. We've already been talking with wallet teams that are excited for this, to come out in full force. We already have plans so that Saturn can be natively integrated directly into those wallets. So to be very, very powerful. We also, we already have wallets in our ecosystem that have very beautiful and amazing UIs, and which are built out by very incredible, very powerful teams. And the Saturn SDK is designed so that they can easily plug into Saturn and then provide this multi-sig solution natively through their wallet. So also looking forward to as more and more of those come to fruition and get realized. That'll be really awesome and exciting. And a big thing also is, I'll say, with Saturn, and I'll pitch this to Gabe also, but with Saturn, we're able to then unlock a lot of the powers, which we're really looking forward to with our DAOist CDK, so our community development kits. Gabe, if you want to give a rundown of exactly how Saturn's going to help us to realize some of those features for our community.
Yeah. So the community development kit is actually internally, I like to separate into two parts. The external connection part, the thing that actually connects to Web2 services, and Saturn itself. So Saturn is still the core of everything in community development kit, because that is the actual DAO or multisig. It all depends on how you want to set it up. It's very flexible. It allows you to do very complex or very simple scenarios. But with that core, you can then use it to enact on chain, enact transactions on chain. But you can also, by connecting to the external services, you can enact things off chain, and you can also have like a feedback system where off chain data comes into the operation of the multisig or the DAO. But the interesting aspect there with the connector is you can have off-chain services actually owned by the the Saturn multisig. For example, you can have a Discord community that is owned by the multisig and thus controlled by it. You can then, for example, uh, you can keep all control through the chain, which for most instances wouldn't be the best solution, but you could, for example, um, allow for moderation to only go through the chain instead of like giving someone the moderation role. The actual moderation would happen through multi-sig calls. You could connect to Twitter and allow a specific sub DAO, for example, the marketing department of the DAO, to make tweets. You could set it up so that someone with a higher role had to also agree to post a tweet. But basically, what it allows us is to have like endless possibilities within the blockchain ecosystem and also with the outside world.
A huge shout out to Fala Networks Fat Contracts, as they are kind of a key here when it comes to bridging between Web3 solutions and those Web2 platforms. So it's gonna be really powerful here, and I just think it's gonna be really neat, like really, really awesome, when individuals who are on Discord and communicating, interacting through Discord are actually like participating in a true DAO. It's just Discord is that UI, that interface that they use to connect to the DAO. And I'm really excited for this just because Discord has become the kind of like the de facto place for DAOs. But the irony is that they're not actually true DAOs. They're just kind of like congregations of people, which is beautiful and awesome. But the point is, we want to realize like true on-chain solutions for them. We want to provide the ability, actual DAO frameworks, deployable DAO frameworks, true on-chain governance. Even like Gabe was saying, things such as roles going through on-chain governance moderation could also be diverted to on-chain governance, and the ability to essentially take ownership over these Web2 accounts and decentralize that ownership directly through the DAO, and providing that again in a way where or through an interface that millions of people are already used to. It's what millions of people use every single day. So with this, we're really excited because this is DAO tooling for Discord like no one's ever seen before. So yeah, really, really excited and hyped for this one. And like I said, I'm going to keep shouting him out, but Gabe's been on fire lately, working very, very hard on all of this. So, much love, big shout out to the guy. Definitely, dude's amazing. Definitely one of my favorite people. Everybody knows that. Uh, let's see here. So we've talked about a good bit. One of the big things, I guess, that we should talk about, it's probably on some people's mind, is the It's Grow Time community sale events. So we are excited for this. We have 1 week to go until this gets going. And so I just want to take a moment and kind of briefly review, just so everyone has a good understanding of what to expect and try to avoid as much confusion as possible. So go ahead and just walk down what to expect. So on the first day when it launches, we have that'll be known as the community phase of the event. So during this time, if you are a holder of a UDL DAO or of a UDL from UDL DAO, you're a past or present InvArch ambassador. If you hold an InvArch banner, which we distributed about a year ago, as well as individuals who participated in the Tinkernet crowd loan, all of those individuals are whitelisted for the first round. It lasts 24 hours. At this time, there will be 2,000 NFTs listed. Now, these NFTs will all be listed in an approximately equivalent. We'll get the price that morning before going and setting it. So the price will be equivalent to about $50 in DOT. And like I said, 2,000 of these made available for the first 24 hours. Following these 24 hours, so now on the second day, what will happen is now the events will expand, will open up to even more people. So including everyone who was already whitelisted for the community round, now this will kicking off the ecosystem round now as well. OSIF testnet participants, and then holders of, if you have a Remark Canaria, if you have a Fallow World Shell NFT, if you have any one of the Buff Chimps, or really the apes and art, the broader collection, broader artists there. Any of his NFTs, you're also whitelisted, as well as holders of a Kusama Kingdom NFT. So at this point, all those individuals are also now whitelisted, able to participate in the round, and we will then be releasing an additional 3,000 NFTs. So now this brings the total NFTs made available at this point in time, brings it up to 5,000. And at the start of the ecosystem round, the price of all of the NFTs, including any unsold NFTs from the community round, will all be listed at a price equivalent to about $55 in DOT. So just to reconfirm, let's say on the first day, 1,500 NFTs get sold, but 500 don't. Then on that next day, those 500, their price will increase to $55 equivalent in DOT to match the pricing as all of the other, the 3,000 new NFTs which were listed. 48 hours after that, so this is in total 72 hours after the start of the event. At this point in time, then the It's Grow Time community event gets opened up to essentially the whole world, to everybody. Which means, so if you were whitelisted during the community round or the ecosystem round, of course, you're still in this as well. And at this point in time, we'll then be adding an additional and final 5,000 NFTs that will be made available. So this brings the total to the full 10,000. And at this point in time, all of the NFTs, which includes if there are any unsold NFTs from the community round and or the ecosystem round, they will all be listed at an approximate $60 equivalent in DOT. And this event will then last, or this phase of the event will then last in total 4 days. So the whole event in all is 7 days. The community round is 1 day, ecosystem round is 2 days, and then the public round lasts for 4 days, so 7 days in total. So hopefully I was able to explain that a decent bit. But of course, if there's any questions, we can answer them at the end. But yeah, wanted to make sure that I went over that. We're going to take the snapshot for NFT holders. We'll make a formal announcement, but we're going to take the snapshot this Friday, and we'll make sure to give a reminder to everyone. It's not at a specific time. We're going to be going through doing it throughout the day. And then once it's all concluded, we'll make sure we'll send out an announcement and let everyone know that the snapshot has been taken. So at that point in time, if you were, obviously anyone who is an ambassador, participating in TicketNet crowd loan, or an OSIP testnet participant, that's you're already done. You're already boom, you're in there. But for UDL holders, InvArch banner holders, and Canaria, Fallow World, Apes and Art, Kusama Kingdom, all those holders, that snapshot will take place this Friday, and we'll make sure to let everyone know once that is done. But yeah, looking forward to that. This is, I will say, I'm still really excited for this. We're also nervous, we just get, but in a good way. It's nervous in the sense of this is the first time with InvArch that we're really, going to the community and making things available, kind of seeing what the community ultimately thinks of us. In one sense, how much trust or faith we've gotten up to this point. Really looking forward to, though, this is the most important thing. As many people know here, we have a lot going on. There's a lot of really awesome solutions that we're building, and we have the team that we have now is absolutely amazing, but it is a small team, and there are a few more things that we would like to do just a little bit faster. And so with this will help substantially and really help us, just to get to the point where we want to be. We're able to build at the pace that we ultimately want to be. We appreciate, the recognition that people have given us so far on our pace to build and things like that. But the reality is, at least for our level of expectations, our bar is set even higher. And we want to make sure that we're able to reach that bar. And its grow time is really all about helping us to get to the point where we can do that. Also, I know that Gabe will appreciate having another engineer under him. So that'll probably, I know he'll appreciate that big time. But yes, wanted to share that. We are excited, sharing more details throughout the week, of course. But just want to go ahead and review that real quick for everyone. You see, obviously, there's other things that we have going on that we've announced in some of our other projects that we have that we've fostered, so to speak. For example, UDL and everything, which we'll talk about later. UDL will actually be planning a community AMA, not AMA necessarily, a community call for the end of this month. So at that point, we can go ahead and get to all of that. So that'll be good. Just curious, Gabe, is there anything on your mind that you just, I don't know, anything at all that you want to share?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to think here. I know we have a lot going on with Saturn, but all that's been going really well. Technically ahead of schedule, but I don't want to speak too soon on things. Things moving along with the CDK. Really looking forward. Gabe and I are looking forward to ETH Denver coming up at the end of this month. Going to be really excited for that. If anyone is going to be there, then we would love to connect, love to meet up. So feel free to shoot a DM, and like I said, you shoot me a DM if you're going, then I'll make sure we'll definitely connect, have a good conversation. I guess at this time it'd be good to open it up to some of the community questions if we want. We already have some provided questions though, so I'm going to go ahead and we'll run through those first. And then afterwards, we can go ahead and open it up to the broader community here in the Twitter space. We have some live questions. So let me see. Let me open up Discord here. Go through. One moment. Trying to find a question that's not about DeFi because we're not a DeFi platform per se. Okay. Well, here's one. So how do you believe you are building a competitive moat around the project? And what do you have that might stop a competitor project from eroding yours? I love this. I love this question a lot because we have spoken with other teams outside of our ecosystem. One notable one I'll say is the Molecule team. So Molecule is a great team, very, very great team, good people over there. Really love what they're doing. And they are ultimately behind creating a lot of the tooling that helps to power DeSci, the world of DeSci, over in the Ethereum ecosystems, like decentralized science is the take there. So there's like VitaDAO, for example. VitaDAO is one of the DAOs that they essentially provide all the tooling for, that they help to make a reality. And also just recently found out that VitaDAO is backed by Pfizer, which is really, really awesome news for them. But so with this, I'll say, so I've had a conversation with the founders of Molecule, and the impression that we left was insane. And I think this really speaks to kind of the moat that we have, and it's the power really of building a substrate-based chain, and more importantly, building a parachain. So building out a parachain, having security provided, shared security provided by a relay chain, and something that we don't immediately need to worry about, which means we're then able to get a little funky and innovative with things such as staking, for example. So regarding moats, first and foremost, one of the things that that's a competitor can't easily deploy, say like in a smart contract based solution for this, is the idea of DAO staking. So what the OSIF protocol on Tinkernet provides, on-chain innovation funding protocol, we realize DAO staking, and pure and simple, it's just not a mechanism that they could realize otherwise. They could realize using smart contracts. It's also one other thing that I'll say is the competitive edge, and this is a massive one, I think, is maybe overlooked or will become increasingly more known to everyone as time goes on. But and I know that Gabe is kind of like a cheat code here, but the pace at which we're able to develop, like the speed at which it's possible to actually achieve solutions, far outpaces the rate at which individuals are able to achieve the same solutions over on Ethereum. And the reason is they're kind of just getting bottlenecked for lack of better words, when it comes to all the standards with just how smart contracts work together on the Ethereum ecosystem. And like one of the things that I was able to point out while I was on the discussion with them was that it took them many, many months, I think about a year, to produce what they call the IP NFT, which we were able to produce the same thing, but in fact more dynamic, and we were able to do it in just a few months with just a Gabe. And and so the big thing there is, and yes, Gabe is very, very talented, but it's also the fact that we have more freedom. We have a lot more freedom. We're able to build a lot faster, and there's a lot less constraints. So we're able to build out more innovative solutions faster at a rate which competitors just can't keep up with. Um, but even then, I wouldn't even necessarily. I'll say, like with Molecule and all of them, because of how we're designed, one of the beautiful things, we don't necessarily need to look at these people as competitors, because like I was saying at the very start of this call, is we're building out these solutions so that other service providers don't have to worry about solving for them themselves, and can then just focus on providing the true services that they initially set out to achieve. So maybe one day, and I will say the conversation went really well, but I will wait to give the 100% confirmation until things are actually in motion. But I will say there is a good chance that we could see Molecule and their DAOs, including VitaDAO, which is backed by Pfizer, launching on the InvArch network in the future. Because even from the words of their founders, we are years ahead of what they want to build out. And so rather than doing that, could seem more plausible to hop over onto our network. So yeah, short answer to what's our moats is substrate. We were able to build out an architecture that you simply can't build out using smart contracts, and we're also able to build out innovative solutions very, very fast, and already outpacing people who have been in this space years before us. And yeah, just going to keep up that pace there and keep making sure that we're always providing just practical, powerful solutions that can service a multi-chain future. Is there anything you want to actually add to that, Gabe, regarding like our competitive moats? I know I just rambled there about the tech a good bit, but I figured you have some insight on that as well.
Well, not just being not just by being substrate chain, but by being in the Kusama and Polkadot ecosystem, there's a lot that we can just like add to our protocol by simply opening a channel with other chains. For example, we have immediately a connect if we connect with Oak, we have immediately chain automation added to our protocols, and that is a feature that we can just add by partnering with other teams, and it doesn't require us to build into our protocol. It doesn't require us to spend months working on it. We just partner with another team, and then boom, that connect our chains, and that feature is available to us. But yeah, having our chains in the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystems gives us superpowers. Like you can think of it like plugins. Uh, you can just like connect to this other chain, and boom, that functionality is also compatible with your chain now.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I can't believe I missed that because yeah, that might be actually one of the more powerful things is just how we don't need to focus ourselves on building out a lot of key, I guess you could say cornerstones, like protocols that tie into this big vision that we have. We have, in one sense, the luxury of being surrounded by amazing, really, really amazing, highly intelligent teams that are building out really powerful solutions that we can then connect into very easily and then provide those solutions within our own and just help us to achieve our vision a heck of a lot faster. Otherwise, yeah, it'd be a lot of development working on things such as DID, automation, off-chain computation. The beauty is we don't have to necessarily worry about those things. There's amazing teams that are already doing that, and our main focus is just on making that connection. Let me see. Moving on, another question that we have is so let's see. So Africa is one of the fastest growing crypto markets in the world, according to Chainalysis, but remains the smallest, with crypto transactions peaking at 20 billion per month in mid 2021. Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa have the highest number of users in the region. Does the InvArch team have plans to maximize the potential in Africa? The short answer is yes. It's something that we're already, for about a month or two now, been mapping out for, in a sense, like planning for. Um, Mikhail and our team, I actually was, I think, back in September when I first came to him and I told him that I really, really want to have a strong game plan for reaching audiences in Africa. I see Africa, honestly, as one of I've, the people there across the whole continent um, are so engaged in this technology. And I don't think that most people realize that, like the level of engagement that there is, but then also just how much of an impact that these solutions can have there and how it can uplift those people. And that's what really excites me. So one of our big things is, reaching out to where we can. Like I said, it's grow time, so we're looking forward to grow so we can more easily achieve a lot of these goals that we have. But one of the things we've already been doing is starting to make connections with whom we kind of see as ecosystem or community leaders in that region. So working on building up rapport and connections in that area, letting them know that we're here to help. We want to help also uplift them and boost awareness of what they're doing as much as we can. And in the coming months, especially as we expand in the future, then we'll be looking to host hackathons, focused in that area. Also looking to have like joint meetups and things like that. So we'd really love to educate people like in person. So a lot of big plans there, honestly. But the most important thing is we want to grow a strong and organic connection with members of the communities over there and do everything that we can to get our tech in front of them, but get our tech in front of them so they can use it, so they can then use our technology to just have a better a better experience overall with what it is that they're trying to achieve. And we really think that DAO tooling and solutions can be so powerful in the continent of Africa. So we're definitely looking forward to that, and we do have big plans, but got, I guess you could say, take things at steps at a time. Yeah. Let me see. Two more questions. So, what is the function of the InvArch platform? Let's see, as a launchpad for a new token or NFT trading platform, while the base token is used for transactions on Tinker of Arch token platforms. Let me see. In the future, Will InvArch provide its own DeFi exchange feature with Varch token utility? Okay, so I kind of get this. So let me just think of like how to tackle this question. Well, first and foremost, while NFTs are individuals will be able to mint NFTs or mark NFTs using both InvArch and Tinkernet. I wouldn't necessarily. Someone could build out. I'll say this on the network if they wanted to. Someone could build out a launch pad. I would argue that because of the power of XCMV3, there could be NFTs that are on InvArch or on Tinkernet, but such a launch pad could actually be built out using a smart contract that's deployed on, let's say, Astar or Shiden, deployed there, but uses or interacts with NFTs that are natively on our chain. That would be really, really awesome. Something I think would be really cool. So I highlight that just because the main focus of InvArch isn't as an NFT like Launchpad or anything like that. Main focus of InvArch is, if anything, I would look at Tinkernet as like a DAO Launchpad. But InvArch still, yeah, definitely like more focused on launching of DAOs and then connecting individuals, connecting those DAOs with services and tooling that help them to achieve their goals. Now, the ability to easily create NFTs, create complex NFTs is a part of this, but to roll out a separate product specifically focused around just NFTs would be something that I think would be better off and a lot more powerful if developed under a cross chain solution or some type of platform. So yeah, kind of my thoughts on that. And regarding like our own DeFi exchange, again, I'll say this: like there's a very good chance that, considering the fact that we introduced these semi-fungible tokens, these multi-class fungible tokens, and we're also introducing these tokens as in many ways, or many instances, I should say, these tokens will actually be used to represent tokenized intellectual property rights and licensing rights, and there one day could be a new type of decentralized exchange market for that. That I will also argue would be extremely powerful, but an immediate DeFi like swap, like something like Uniswap, isn't something that we're looking to have on our chain. If anything, something like I said before, something that someone could deploy on, say, Astar network, and then using things such as XCMV3 deployed on one chain, using primitives on another chain such as ours. That I would argue would be the way to go. But with InvArch, its big thing there is just providing those unique primitives through that platform. See, Gabe, what are your thoughts on DeFi? See.
I'm more interested in DeFi. I'm more actually interested in NFT trading directly than asset trading, but it's more due to me not at all being personally interested in trading. But I think I actually think Web3 has moved way too much into finance without actually tackling all the other web related issues. It's not like, I don't think DeFi should be viewed as like even 50% of Web3. There's so much more to build, so much more to solve than just like the DeFi aspects.
I agree. Kind of, share sentiment on that front. All right, let me see. I'm gonna take two more questions here from Discord, and then we'll go ahead and we'll hop over to live questions over Twitter. So let's see, Sasso. So hi, my question is, what is the last week to unstake DOT to participate in the crowd loan? Will there be a cap in the crowd loan? Really looking forward to the Grow event. Thank you for that. And good question. So we will be releasing the details, like the actual, like all the full final numbers for our crowd loan at the end of this month. The reason that we're hesitant to do so, we've already released the fact there will be, for the crowd loan, 1% of the supply, up to 1% of the supply provided. For the crowd loan, we're going to be doing a scaling rewards distribution. So it's going to be more similar to Tinkernet versus like some other crowd loans in the past, where there's this set supply, and whether I don't know whether it's 1 DOT got contributed or 100,000 DOT got contributed, that supply is going to get distributed amongst that no matter what. We're going to refrain from that because that's how you get this system where, oddly enough, you want enough people participate, but they don't want more people to participate because it dilutes what they would have gotten. That's not the type of system that we want to provide. So, going to be similar to Tinkernet, up to 1%, and this will be based off of course, at this time, we will say, we'll be able to decide what is the cap, the dot cap that we'll be looking to raise, and then of course there will be kind of like a proportionate share. So I'm just going to make up an example now. This isn't the number, but let's say if the cap was 100,000 dots, and we're going to 1% of the supply, then for I don't know, for every 10,000 dot, that person could assume to get a 0.1% of the total supply, because that's what that would be equal to. But we're waiting until the end of this month in order to produce that number, because we want to see what the state of crowd loan auctions on Polkadot look like at that time. If it is, if the average and what's needed turns out to be that people are securing 50,000 dot, then we'll make our assessments based on that. If there's a flip, then boom, people need 200,000 dot, we will make an assessment on that. But the point of us waiting is just to make sure that whatever number it is that we end up deciding on, that it fits the time, so to speak. Sorry about that. I'm like frog in my throat. But yeah, so and then when's the last week to unstake? I said the final week. I would recommend to unstake your dots during the final week of February. We will, as soon as we can, we'll let everyone know, and ideally before that final week of February. But we're going to make sure that we give everyone, 28 days. That way they have enough time, 28 days to unbond their dot, since that has been, the community is definitely asked to make sure that they be made aware of that. Let me see, and let me pick one more question. Can you please break down the initial supply when TGE? So, all right, one moment here. Let me pull up this article. All right, so as we recently shared with our latest article titled "The New InvArch Network Token Economy." So, at this point in time, let's say, so at the moment of the token distribution event. Now this isn't considering locks investing, just so you know, so the actual liquid supply will be less than this, but during the time of the token distribution events, we will be distributing the 2% from the community airdrop, which is based off the community, its grow time event of NFT holders. So 2% there. There'll be a brief lock for our seed supporters following 3 months, and then boom, that'll get distributed to them, and then we'll undergo another 21-month vesting. So it's in total, it's a 2-year experience for our seed supporters. InvArch Association, I mean, technically none of our tokens are liquid at all for at least 1 year, and then it's a slow 9-year unvesting period after that. With the ecosystem, so we have 10% allocated towards the ecosystem. Out of this, it's, I think it's up to 6.5. It's very, very close to 6.5% has been already earned and allocated for our ambassadors just over the year, both former and some of our current. So with that, at that point in time, this also has a vesting period. To double check down. My apologies. So yeah, 1 month. They'll be locked for a month at that point in time, and then they'll be linearly vested, so by block over the course of the next 11 months. So that's a 1-year experience there. So at the point of the token distribution event, really just those who have more immediate liquidity will be those who participated in the crowd loan, those who participated in the community event, and that's actually really it. At least for the first month there, it's just gonna be them. And then after that, we'll start to see some of our ambassadors and seed supporters have some of their tokens unlocked, and yeah, go from there. And overall, again, 25-year total schedule to, I guess, unlock its fully diluted value. And one thing I just want to explain here, because this is really important. So, with the 25-year vesting that is set on the infrastructure and governance allocations, the reason for this is I don't know. I want you to kind of imagine the InvArch network as like a child, okay? And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are nurturing this child until it is a fully fledged. It's a grown adult. It's able to walk, stand on its own, walk, run on its own, self sufficient, can take care of itself. And the point of this is it's giving the network 25 years of essentially of steady incentive, steady fuel, so that it can grow itself into this big economic hub that it needs to be before transitioning to being fueled and being funded purely off of or purely based off of the activity on the network. So this gives, and it might be a long time, it might, I wouldn't say it's little, but this gives 25 years to make sure that the InvArch network grows into something that is truly self-sustaining before switching to relying on the actual activity of the network itself. So 25 years to get it to a nice, strong state where it can be self-sufficient. 25 years of funding future growth and infrastructure, incentivizing governance participation, and again 25 years of getting it to a nice final state, so where once that switch, so to speak, goes into effect, that the funding that it then gets from on-chain activity it's healthy, it's strong enough because it's had 25 years to develop and foster this strong economy for which those funds come from. So that is the big thing there. With all that, I want to go ahead and open it up now to community questions. So we got AJ is in charge of the host here, so if you could, invite people up as needed. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to raise your hand, and Gabe and I would be happy to answer them for you. Are you seeing any questions on your end? Okay. Oh, cool. There we go. All right. Hey, Richie, how are you?
Hey, Dakota, I'm really well, thank you. Hey, it was really cool to see the progress of OSIF, the public testing. It received so much positive feedback. It was great to be a part of the project, by the way. Can't wait to see it go live. I have two quick questions. One's more specific, another one's more general. Number one, for the OSIF staking, when it does go live, will there be a role for validators? Number two, which is more general, it was dropped in the OSIF. Just a sneak peek of the InvArch Embassy DAO. As you know, we have a lot of former ambassadors, people who would like to be ambassadors and to get back in, if possible. Could you tell us a little bit more information, if possible, about the InvArch Embassy DAO? Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So to answer the first question, our staking is actually no, it's not like the like Osama and Polkadot staking where the rewards from staking are meant to support validators to validate blocks on the network. It's actually uh everything is directed to the DAOs and the stakers themselves. But to actually go into your question a bit different. We do have collators in the network, and we do have a role for collators in Discord. If anyone's interested in helping the network, collators do get rewards from block fees, and there is a guide in our GitHub on how to set up a collator. But if you are interested, just ask about it in Discord, and we can help you get it set up.
And then regarding the InvArch Embassy, so we actually do have a rather big plan for the embassy. The big thing is we want to turn the InvArch Embassy into the InvArch Embassy DAO. So with full vision for like decentralize the network, the ambassador program like included, like I guess in most cases, like ambassador programs, they have like a shelf life, so to speak. They come, they serve their purpose, and then they get kind of phased off by many projects. But what we would ultimately really like to do, and what we will be doing with InvArch, we have a really awesome ambassador program, and so with that, we also have some really awesome ambassadors helping to lead this program. So as we produce our DAO like services and solutions, we actually want to launch the InvArch Embassy program, which is our ambassador program. We actually want to launch this using our solutions and actually launch it as an on-chain DAO, and an on-chain DAO that is autonomously controlled by the actual ambassadors themselves. And then from that, the funding that then goes towards incentivizing our ambassadors. The idea here is that with the InvArch Embassy being staked, that then network stakeholders, token holders, themselves can determine the amounts of rewarding and incentives, which then goes towards fueling the InvArch Embassy DAO. So you want to make it self-sustainable and then also give it the proper tooling it needs so that the actual ambassadors in the DAO can take more or less full control over it and also grow and expand it as they see fit. And then go ahead. I see you up there, McCall.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Machala from Africa, Nigeria. I would start by congratulating the team for successfully testing the efficiency of the novel OCF staking platform. I can't actually wait to see the OCIF go live. A very big bravo to the team. I came across InvArch through a friend, a fellow content creator who is incredibly amazing at making educative YouTube videos. Talking about Richie, the new caster, moderator with InvArch. I have some few things here to say, particularly ever since I joined the InvArch, I have been reading through the Polkadot, the project white paper. So a lot of interesting stuff in there, but the stuff are quite a bit technical, a bit. So having spent about a year as Polkadot ambassador, I can see over a time so far, complex or technical stuffs have been made simple for users' understanding through the regular update of the Polkadot wiki, which happens to be a great resource for learning about Polkadot and Kusama. So my question is, are there some plans to make the InvArch white paper more comprehensive for users' understanding? And also, lately, as a way of getting users to learn about the ecosystem, Polkadot has a weekly document release for some basic questions about the ecosystem, and users get to attempt answering those questions. So currently, the idea has been helpful in assessing the community understanding and knowledge about Polkadot ecosystem. So I think something like that should be considered here too in time to come. Yeah, it will actually help evaluate the community knowledge about InvArch project. Thank you.
No, absolutely. Thank you for coming up. I completely agree, and I guess I owe the community kind of an apology with so much jargon in the white paper. I will say that since publishing the white paper, and so, which is a year ago, a little bit over a year ago. So between them, then and now, a lot of innovations, a lot of changes. Nothing too substantial, but definitely notable, have taken place. So with that, I do believe that an entire update is needed for the white paper. So that will be coming in the future, and with that, I will keep in mind, especially to make sure that it is more easily digestible by those who might come across and read it. But then more importantly, also, one of the things that as a team we just need to do, as a project we need to do, and it's been slightly difficult to stay on top of with the team size that we have now, but again, looking to overcome this in the near future, but making sure that we have ample and clear documentation around the project available. So something like a proper InvArch wiki, building that up and having that available is definitely, it's actually like very, 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 very much on the top of my list for things that I want to see get done. Because I've been hearing a lot of the same, views that you shared. People love the project, very interesting to go to read about it. It's kind of a lot. And when they look for like more additional information, it can kind of be a struggle to find. We produce a lot of information through our Medium articles, but nonetheless, I'd say it's our responsibility to make sure that we get more proper documentation available, and a more what am I thinking of? Aggregated environment. So a single source, like I said, just like an InvArch wiki. So it is something that we will be working on getting up here relatively soon. If not by the end of this month, 100% it'll happen in March. I promise that. Any other questions, anybody? So I don't want to cut it short if there is, but I see Rams just hopped in. But like I said, feel free if otherwise, we'll go ahead and we'll look towards wrapping it up. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Would love to answer them. Any questions on InvArch or DAO tooling, what we're building with the community sale events, our plans for Polkadot. Any questions at all? I'd love to answer them, but I don't want to force you, of course.
Yes, Dakota, I have one more question. It's been asked by the community a number of times. The NFTs for the community sale event, any which are unsold, can you give any indication of where they will be sold in the future?
So right now, I will say if any are unsold, then what would happen in this instance is we'll most likely, there's two scenarios. So let's say if we have the community sale event, it's going well, it's going strong. And there's still like a notable amount of NFTs left over. Then we could look to extend the duration of the public events by maybe 1 to 2 days. That is one scenario that has crossed our mind. The other scenario would be just simply, those that go unsold, they just simply go unsold. They would not never be minted. Those individuals there's no individuals there that never bought them. But those tokens that would have gone towards that otherwise, the assumption here is that we would redirect this towards the ecosystem fund. And then just, those funds would be there at the whim of the community to control in the future.
Super cool. And final thing, it's more of a remark than a question, which is a lot of the information that people are finding online, such as Medium articles, the white paper, it still mentions IP files, IP sets, which are now called InV cores. And so there's a little bit of confusion there. Do you plan to have those edited?
Yes, we do. Actually, probably more sooner than later. I'm glad you brought that up as well. We've gone back on a few things, but now we'll definitely make sure we'll go through back on all of our past writings, whether it's a Medium or even documentation on our website, and essentially replace any of those old IP acronyms and replace them with the current ones now. If anyone and then also just for those, if anyone is curious, like why the change, it's because we realized that InV core assets are the whole vision that we have, that entire vision with IP assets. It achieves all of that. However, it achieves all of that plus these primitives could also be used as the perfect DAO primitives. So the reality is they serve as so much more than IP. So we wanted to kind of give it a not so specific, IP nomenclature, like focus around the naming there. But yes, I will make sure. Actually, maybe even this week to make sure and go back and update all of that, all those IP acronyms with the current ones. Thank you for raising that point, Richie.
I have one more question.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Lately, I was discussing with my friends. I was telling them about the InvArch, and I was having some difficulties getting them to understand, or maybe to make it so simple for their understanding. So even though there are some explanation on the white paper, but I would like to hear from you, Dakota, in simple terms. Like, what can I tell a friend in a sentence or a phrase what InvArch is all about?
In one sentence. That is always such a hard thing for me. But okay, so that's
you mentioned that on the Riri show that you really struggle with that question, by the way.
Yeah, I can talk, I can ramble and talk and expand for ages, but when it comes to the one sentence or less, that's where I'm like, huh. You should have seen me on my Web3 Web3 Go from the Subwallet team from their interview that they did with me. It took me like 5 takes to pick 2 words to describe the future. But anyway. So okay, in one simple term, InvArch can be used. I really want to answer that. I want to nail this on the head really, really well. So if someone's asked, like, why would I use InvArch? What's InvArch for? InvArch is for launching a digitally based organization from anywhere in the world that allows you to connect with anyone across the world to build or achieve whatever your goal is. Yeah, if I had to put it into one sentence, that would ultimately be it. There's a lot I would like to add, but ultimately, yeah. InvArch, it gives the freedom for you to launch an organization, launch a project, digitally, in the digital domain, the Web3 domain, to launch that project, to define what it is, the different departments, your different needs for this project, and then to list the roles, get connected with those people to bridge the gap between your idea, your mission, and those who have the skills and resources to help you bring that to reality. And then,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
no problem.
understood.
The questions. And I see Rams up there. How you doing, my man?
Hey, Dakota. All good. What's up, Gabe? What's up, community of InvArch? I have 2 questions, Dakota. Are you ready? Or I have 3, actually. The last one's special. It's private. Well, the first one, did you finally take a day off?
Yeah. For the most part, yeah.
For the most part.
My de facto, like, I don't know. I don't know how to not do, like, I don't do well with doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And over the past year or so, my instincts of what do I do when there's nothing, I pull out my phone and go on Twitter, but my Twitter is I can never get away from it, but I did get to take a good breather, which was nice. I walked across the grass for the first time in a while.
Good. So we need you in here, full steam ahead. Second question.
I basically did the same exact thing, actually. So actually, Dakota said on Saturday that on Sunday we would be taking a day off to relax, and then at the end of Sunday I realized that I spent like 75% of the day switching between Discord, Twitter, and Slack. Like, and that nothing happened. Like, no one sent any message, nothing, and I was just like, this is not normal. Something must be happening.
Yeah, I kept opening Slack just to see no notifications, and I check it again in 30 minutes, and I'm like,
Yeah. That was a complicated Sunday.
Your bodies are trained to work. I get it. I understand. Second question. I arrived a little bit late, but are you applying for the Toyota DAO tooling shindig?
Yeah. So as you know, really, really excited actually for that. I think it's such an amazing thing, and I'm not that it might not matter much coming from me to him, but I'm genuinely really proud of Soda for pulling that off, and that's massive, and it's right up our alley. Big thing is I want to go ahead and get that application in. My plan is to get it in on was it on the 8th? So was that on Wednesday in 2 days? By then or sooner. It's just I know that for a fact I have a time block slotted out to do it at that time. So yeah, no, absolutely yes, and we already have. We're really excited to hopefully showcase to Toyota and company exactly what it is, like how we can help them, how we can service them, because it sounds like the areas like how they want to integrate DAO tooling is really in par with our vision. Like I understand DAOs or like why DAOs. It's not just because there's this ability to create these things, but like why have a DAO versus other more traditional structures. And the reality is that because with proper DAO tooling, you can create more, lack thereof management, but more efficient organization structures. You can get things done ideally faster, and in many cases for a lot less input, whether that's energy or financial input, and you can get the same, if not better results. And it all comes down to the proper tooling. So I'm really excited to getting this in front of their eyes.
That's awesome. If I know it's like more work, even me just saying this and requesting it. But if we could follow along the journey of like how and what you're proposing, if that's something the team is like,
Oh no,
that'd be
absolutely.
awesome. Just so we could learn
I'll,
and live vicariously through that whole process too.
I'll share that prior to submitting it. Actually, I'll share it in our group chat between our teams.
Awesome.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, get some feedback and just talk it
Yeah,
over.
I mean, also with the community in general, if there's some things you could like share eventually when you get to that point. But I think that like DAOs for that kind of industry or that kind of like performance enhancement and efficiency is not talked about too much. So your knowledge and what you're learning and what you're proposing could be like helpful for us too. And when we speak about InvArch or just tooling in general and DAOs, so it'd be awesome. Yeah, but yeah, congrats.
I think. No, congrats to you guys. I just want to say, like, that should be a really huge thing. I hope like everyone understands this. Is we have, thanks to Astar, thanks to what you guys have pulled off, we have one of the largest companies in the whole freaking world. The largest, if I'm not, I could be wrong, but I believe it's the largest in terms of employee count in all of Japan. Absolutely massive company here, looking to implement DAO solutions. I mean, if this isn't a sign of the future changing in this direction, I don't know what is. So I'm really excited, just really actually thankful for the Astar team for pulling this off, because it to me is freaking huge.
Just for the entire space in general, even like if you're a fan of blockchain, this is just good for all of us. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and my last question. So I've heard rumors there from me. I made up this rumor. There's going to be a Tinder, Web3 Tinder, and we get to implement some DAO toolings and vote on who Dakota dates and goes out with. So just confirming that you're going to be part of that too, right? You're already saying yes.
What?
It looks like the crowd is in favor of this. So yeah, you're gonna have to be part of this Tinder Web3 version.
I mean, I would do that for like a fun week-long YouTube video social experiment. Yeah, my decentralized shot at love. I don't know.
That's awesome. Actually, not a bad idea. All right, that's it. I'm off. Thank you guys.
Thank you for this question, Rams. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
And Dustin, what's up, man? I see you.
Bro, this is so funny. Oh man, it's good to be here. I feel refreshed.
How you been?
Oh, man, life has been a roller coaster slash, enjoyment. Like just a lot of, everything. I've had a great time, man.
I know you've been busy.
Yeah, I've been busy. Had a little time away, and then now I'm back. I think I'm back.
Yo, Dustin, are you gonna be at East Denver?
I should, but team is the BD team will be there. I respect it, but I might unofficially go there. I'm just saying.
So if you are, that'd be awesome. I mean, you already know you're usually the first person I look for at every event I go to.
Seriously, yeah, we all link up together. It's like InvArch,
Man, you at least have to be in consensus in Austin. Come on.
Oh yeah, definitely. We gotta redo that one. we gotta do the 2.0 for sure.
I might get to speak at that, which would be cool. I'm still waiting for
yeah,
an email to let me know that they're still considering. So I'm like, all right,
okay, dude, hell yeah, I would definitely go. Dude, put you on a podium, man. Oh, presidential.
We're talking about going to Austin.
And you're yeah, dude.
Heck yeah, man. I only live like 4 hours away, 5 hours away, something like that, 6 hours away, something. Easy drive. Let's go, boys. It's all good.
So yeah,
yes.
Throw down polka down.
Dude, it was a vibe.
Represent polka dot.
Yo, we got to do the scooters again. You got to do the scooters again,
bro. We need to film the scooter ride.
That's what we need to do. Boss. Dude, I was rapping on the scooter, like rolling through Austin. Dakota's like, let's go here, let's go here. Like, fuck, let's go. Just cruising through the city. I was like, this is the best.
Well, I have to love,
Oh,
I just love growing up. I've said this before, so I don't like bring it up every time. But like, no, yeah, growing up, really poor. It was really, really poor. I didn't get to do a thing. So like now, just like travel, for example, like I didn't travel ever at all. The past year, I've been to more like different cities in my life than I've ever been to in my whole prior my life combined. So like I love it when I get to go to these events. Like I love seeing the people, the energy, but then like yeah, I love the architecture and the beauty of all the different like places and cities I get to go see. It's one of my like more favorite things is just like the natural beauty of well, natural and I guess concrete beauty of all these things.
I feel it. Yeah, when I see you, you're like a kid at the candy store and like wide-eyed and bushy tail. Like you just the vibrance that you see and like the way you approach it is just it's very beautiful. I'll just say honestly, like the way you think and the way you see the world. Like even though you've had hardships in your life, I've really seen the value you see how life is. Like it's cool.
I mean, I just appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. I understand that everything you look at, there's like it's a really cool story to how it got there, but
Mm.
it's also like when you get to see how much like just across the globe too, just how much as a species like we've achieved. Like you see these ungodly structures, and like the reality is like no people built that. Like, and to
Mm.
understand that like as a species like we can do those type of things, it's just I don't know. It's exciting because if we could do that with the outdated tooling of yesterday, I just imagine what we're going to be able to do with the new tooling and solutions coming out tomorrow.
Mm. So you're saying Rome wasn't built in a day? Is that like not?
That's what they tell.
You sure?
Yeah, with that lead into that, what are some updates with InvArch? I gotta stay up to date, man. I've been out of it.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So yeah, back to the questions. So I mean, we've been kind of busy. I mean, since I last spoke with you in person, really busy. But one of the main things is we have been really focusing our narrative more on our DAO solutions that we're building out, creating like the super chain for DAOs. Our vision is like with the InvArch network, like we want to make it the easiest place in the world or the easiest platform there is to launch DAOs. We want to make it a platform where you can truly and fluidly construct like essentially with Legos in it, so to speak, but like building out, defining the structure of your organization, defining the roles and everything, and then just being able to, with a few clicks, deploy it and get that going live. And we want to create just this insane experience that just helps things get done. It helps people spur up DAOs. It helps them, whether that's a DAO that is focused on like a marketing DAO, so we're providing a service, or if it's a DAO because someone has an idea for an invention that they want to they want to produce. Getting a DAO, allowing someone to easily spin up a DAO that's focused around achieving that. We want to make that easier than ever before. And again, if someone they're just looking to build out a full-on, large, complex organization. I mean, anything possible. I just want to make that as easy and as fluid as possible. I want to give people the ability to plug in all these different governance models very easily. To like, obviously have presets that they can use, but then the freedom also for them to go in there and customly design whatever it is they need. IP is still a huge thing, of course, but it more so the DAOs are the foundation because there's a DAO. Like, I'll just say why. Two big reasons why this is a foundation. So, like, there are IP assets, but and this is a huge win for us. This is a huge moat. Actually, is all the IP solutions out there are there's a huge problem that they're going to encounter in the real world, and they're creating these assets that then distribute the ownership rights to the individuals of the DAOs. And that's the issue because legally speaking, in the real world, if one person, just one, you could have 9,999 people in favor of something. But if one person with ownership rights says no, that's no. You can't. It doesn't matter if it was only one person. Now, obviously, when it comes to like DAO governance, that wouldn't really pan out so well. So what the workaround there is what happens like in the real world is you have a third party service provider who actually they retain the actual ownership rights, and they facilitate use rights to contributors and so on. So instead of having that third party trusted entity facilitating that, we're able to use DAOs, launch DAOs as trustless on-chain facilitators of IP rights, so that the DAO itself is the owner of the rights, and all the contributors are then delegated use rights and different customizable use rights too. So that's a really important thing there.
Yeah.
And then secondly, also just why it's the foundation is because it's going to be these DAOs and members of these DAOs or sub DAOs working. Sometimes you could have people in this sub DAO communicating and working with people in this sub DAO over here, which is entirely different project. And the ability for them to freely communicate, like whatever it is intellectual property wise that are working together, to work together to produce things and facilitate those rights and ownership properly. It all comes down to DAO tooling and this DAO infrastructure. So that's definitely like the big update since you and I last
Okay.
spoke.
Well, that's awesome, man, because the two things that I'm hearing more now in the back channels of like these investment groups and kind of narrative driven, like what's going on in crypto overviews, is everyone's starting now to talk about SEC security, like regulations. How does that affect your project? How do you get around it? What do you build? How do you build it? And they mentioned two things to me that really stood out and like actually highlighted what you guys are already doing, which is DAOs, all DAOs that are tokenized with currency tokens, like actual tradable currency tokens, they're all going to go down because they're labeling it as a security. That is kind of what everyone is saying. Like that is the way they're going. What they can't. So what projects are doing now is switching to an NFT model, because NFTs work no different than a membership club at like the local country club.
P-Party
So
sale.
what's that?
I said that sounds similar to actually exactly why. There's a very specific reason why our community sale event is facilitated using NFTs, and it's
Yes.
in line
Yeah,
with what you're saying.
exactly. And so the one thing they're talking about is that there's nothing stopping you from selling things that include a membership, that have utility,
Mm-hmm.
voting rights, etc., governance, all that stuff. Nothing says that that is a security. What is a security is the trading of coins, speculation. Like you can speculate on the course. Like of course you can pay a ticket, and the speculation could make it go up, but that's not the problem. The problem is when you have an incentivized like earning potential. And so that right there is a big difference. And so a lot of projects are switching over to this NFT kind of DAO governance model, and that is kind of the rush, so that they are not um, getting action by the SEC and like governments. Because what the governments are going to do is like, look, these are the rules. They're going to action some people. At least that's what's they're being talked about.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, okay, if you're breaking the rule by next year and you haven't switched, then you're in trouble. And so everyone's going to have to register at one point or another, or switch their whole model, which is very similar to what this makes sense, because Polkadot kind of already done this. They went from a token to tech, right? And so this is what I think is really, really, really powerful and a good way to propel that narrative and what you guys are already building.
So thank you for actually pointing that out. And I just want to say, like, yeah, it is like I imagine over the next year, there's going to be a lot of projects out there that are everything's going to catch up to them, so to speak. And whether as an industry we agree or disagree, that's just what's going to happen. And with that, like teams and projects need to be able to, like, when you launch up a DAO, you need to be able to launch up a DAO that doesn't get you in trouble. So that's a really important thing here. So with InvArch, like us being able to provide not just like one framework for governance, but like having NFT based governance. You can have token based governance, but separating that token from, let's say, a like equity deriving token. So like you think there's a class A in the United States, there's like a class A and a class B stock. The class A is like your equity share, and then class B is just your voting weight in like your board meetings. And one of the things now with this, there's just like this one token model, is individuals. If there's a token attached to a DAO, it's a catch-all. It does everything. Like it is this incentivized governance token, and because of that, and when I say incentivized, I mean there is this. For being honest, this hope that it will increase in value, which then causes concerns in the realm of securities. But then being able to provide either NFT-based solutions in place or separate things so that you can have a fungible token that is strictly for governance and used like it's engineered specifically for governance, voting weight in the protocol, and nothing more, then we can start to look at solutions that actually either work around or complement what it is that the SEC is kind of looking to unleash on
Yeah,
industry.
right. And so one thing that they mentioned is there's nothing wrong with having a ticket. Like, let's talk about the country club. The country club starts out at a 15-member group. Then it grows to 30 members, and those 30 members decide to get some sponsorships that then create more golf courses on the country club. So now the membership increases in price because there's more options that that membership allows you to have. So that is what they're doing, which is like nothing. There's nothing breaking the law.
But that's like business as usual,
Right. There's nothing breaking the law saying that this is illegal. That's absolutely not illegal. So that is kind of the method of they're saying, look, we're not doing this to increase the price of the token, but we are also not in control of the increase if it because that's all demand, right?
Yeah.
You don't control that. It is not an incentivized like monetization model.
No, that's actually like really important too, which, like I said, I think it's going to be one of those things that unfortunately for some, like they'll come to realize, like the SEC in the United States, and mine's like I'm a U.S. citizen here in D.C. I pass by the SEC building at least once a week. A little fun fact, but one of the things is like you gotta understand this is the year where they've been kind of preparing for this. They have the funding, they have the staff size now, in the tens of thousands, added new employees. And the big thing beforehand was there was too much going on for them to get a hold on anything. But now they have the ability to keep a better eye on things. So people aren't going to be able to go about things as freely as they were before. And granted, I will say like where you are in the world depends, like varies. So thing is like I'm in the US. And even though InvArch currently is based out of Switzerland, like the actual association, I'm a US citizen. So I'm very, very on top of things such as like securities and how we operate and things like that. Because I mean, I have to understand that as a US citizen, InvArch could be based there, but I'm here. So I need to make sure that we're following the rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's also a leak saying that there's a big DeFi protocol that's going to get taken down by multiple countries. I don't, I think I know who it is because there's been some leaks of that too. But if it does happen, it's going to shake the freaking like crypto world. Everyone, I think if it is that massive and the leaks are true, it's going to be pretty bad.
That'd be interesting. Not much of a DeFi guy.
Yeah, and it all goes to that because they supposedly have a DAO, and the DAO is through the token, and they actually have it's a token, it's a trading pair token. So
Yeah.
that's the problem that's going to because they're trying to pass it on as a utility token, but it's not really right.
So if it was Lido or Uniswap, that'd be pretty significant. But who knows? Who knows? We'll see. I don't use Uniswap, so, but I do use Lido. So I do DeFi a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be leading to, which is DAOs are going to have to either change or go down with the ship. And this is going to affect crypto as a whole because once they sit down and say like, we'd agree to these laws, and Peter, Peter Marek, I don't know if you guys know who that is. Some of them you guys might know, but he made a good point, which is yes, the U.S. Is tough on crypto, and unfortunately, whatever they decide to regulate crypto and how other countries will just follow suit because it's kind of just how it's worked, right? And so if this ends up coming down hard on a DeFi protocol, and then they're like saying, "Yep, this is our example. We made an example of these guys," and then everyone's like, "Oh, wow." You're going to see a lot of volatility, but the problem is you're going to see a lot of communities that are like, okay, well, where do we go? How do we get compliant? I think here is the InvArch opportunity to be like, this is what we do. We specialize in this. lucky dog that you are, because we already have that solved, right? So
And one of the big
pretty
things
good idea.
I'm glad you brought this up. One of the big things too that we're going to be working towards in the future is providing direct integrations with real world registrars, like business registrars, so that for those who are interested, if it fits your path, your model, your mission, you have the ability to legally establish the DAO in a certain domain. Like first and foremost, it'll be easy for us to do here in the U.S. But also looking to working on establishing connections, partnerships across the globe with other governments. I mean, me in the U.S., I have a lot. I can find the president's phone number if I wanted to. So I have a lot of connections here. But in elsewhere, that's where you want to kind of branch out and make it to where someone can one day legally establish their DAO in the EU, legally establish their DAO in Brazil. I love the energy coming out of Japan. I kind of see them as really on the forefront of adoption as in terms as a country goes when it comes to DAOs. So hopefully, again, in the future, making it to where someone could easily register a DAO somewhere like Japan. But we want to provide direct integrations so that DAOs can do this, and then DAOs can also follow a path of compliance and actually know what they need to do. Because I think one of the big problems is that many people don't know what to do. Like they don't know what is a compliant path, and a lot of people may not even know that they should be considering these things. But with our solutions, we hope to bridge that gap and make it easier than ever for people to not just know what that path is, but to walk down that path.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think one thing that is really, really important here is the governance aspect, which is what I think. So there's two narratives that I'm starting to see pop up. Governance matters, right?
Yeah.
And and regulations around all of this. Um, I think this is a great opportunity for Polkadot to kind of really cement itself as look, we've already kind of solved this issue, and I think it's a great opportunity for the community to get loud and proud about what is being offered here, what you guys are doing with Udo Down. Um, can you follow up on the changes that are upcoming? I know you guys are doing another mint, and I missed the first one because you guys did it during the busiest time of my life.
Okay.
So,
So
I give me some info.
all right, so with Udall down, and we'll probably look to end the AMA after this question. Might answer one more question. I see Natty's up there, so I want to get to her. But yeah, so with Udall down, we're going to be having a community call at the end of this month. So a majority of everything will be discussed there. But what we have shared so far are really just early plans, early intentions for what we want to do moving forward. So this summer, exact date unspecified yet, but this summer we hope to expand the collection. And there's there's strategy behind this. So what we've seen in other ecosystems is first and foremost, the value of, as one could see for the degens out there, the value of a collection, the entity, it comes down to the strength of a community. That's what ultimately gives it value, is its community. And with Udall DAO, we have an awesome community, but what we want to do is we need a bit more room to welcome in larger numbers and really build up a community full of people with great energy, people who have skills that they can contribute back into the DAO. To really inspired what we saw happen with Utes and how they did things. So we want to make it to where Udall DAO can become. We want it to become like that, just crazy energy community ecosystem DAO of Polkadot, of Kusama. And so with that, expand the collection, and enhancements of the current art. So we got Skulls, ecosystem artist. He's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, literally, dude is insane artist. I love all of his work. I'm very excited for what will happen with the collection. But so yeah, it's an opportunity. It's two things. One, it's upgrading the art, enhancing the art, so to speak. But then also we're taking this as an opportunity. This will be specific for current holders. This is a bit of alpha. But only current holders of NFTs, they'll be getting more components, more accessories than anyone else would be. And this is because they're going to be getting both the standard accessories enhanced that they already have now, but we also want to make sure that we add in more support for, I guess you could say, female prominent features, so to speak, like with the design. So like you can obviously like tell like this is a dress, you know what I mean? Or there's like more feminine aesthetics. So we want to add that so that the women in Udal DAO can fully, I guess you could say, build their Udal up to represent themselves more accurately. So this bonus will only be for current holders. More details on that in the future. But yeah, big thing is it's just really early alpha. Maybe too early, but yeah, I just want to kind of give like this big heads up, get the conversation started now. Also get a barometer on community opinion and stuff like that. Following it, but long plans. Like I said, not until summer, so like 2 whole quarters away. And with all of that, just going to be making sure, taking this time to really build up just a collection that everyone will be proud of, and take this opportunity of expansion to grow the community, bring in more people. And so at its launch, like of this Udals 2, have this extremely vibrant and engaging, just electric community, thriving throughout the DAO. And then using this is very important to have this strong community. Then with Udal DAO, launching all of these different community-based sub DAOs from it, and just kind of watching this community DAO-based organism just really grow. But yeah.
Okay, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's good, awesome information. I'm kind of sad.
I mean, there'll be a chance. We got a lot of cool information coming out on it soon, but I want to be careful to what I share. Just like I said, it's many, many, many months in the future, and a lot of planning is going to go into it. So as more details get more like concretely established, then we'll be in a position to share more.
Oh,
Hey,
hey
Natty.
Dakota. Hey Dakota. So my question was, I know that InvArch right now is more about like DAOs, right? Service parachain for DAOs. And I've seen recently you joined like a couple new DAOs, like Lean Nouns DAO, Youth NFT, right? So I guess you did it for your own research to see what's the current challenges DAOs have, or something you wanted to implement, right? So I just want to ask you a question, like what did you find? Like what's the challenges currently DAOs face? What did you think should be improved? And I wanted to ask a question about Udal DAO, but Alpha Airdrop already asked that, so I guess I just leave it to that. Like, what do you see? What can be improved? What can be implemented? And what can be better?
No, absolutely. So it was really fun, I will say, to kind of get some direct exposure. Both Gabe and myself getting direct exposure to some of these other communities. The immediate thing that we noticed definitely was just, and this is kind of beyond our grasp, but just like the tooling that was available in other ecosystems that we really appreciated. But the big thing is when it came to how these communities were curated, where we're just, whether curated or just built up from the ground up, and how they empowered their communities, like what gave them life, like why are they so vibrant and thriving? And those are like the big things that we were focused on. So when it came to like the gods, so there's the gods NFT community, and one of the things that I really liked was the ability for people to stake their god, and they stake their god. By staking it, they get dust, which is a cryptocurrency connected to they call the dust protocol, for their NFT collection. So you're able to stake, you get that, you get the token. Currently, their tokens utility, I don't believe there is any direct utility. However, I see the potential there. So we share things for like Udaltown. So making it to where the U token is literally, it's the currency within this within Udaltown. So I'm one of the other things I liked is like with branding. So I'll tie this all together. So there's like the gods and the Utes branding, and someone buys, but they buy one of the NFTs, and this person or a group of NFT holders are like, hey, we want to make merch for the DAO. And they do that. And they make like real world merch. I have a physical Utes hoodie that I bought from somebody. Now I had to do the transaction not in the dust token, it was using Sol. But the thing is, instead of that, they could have made it to where like the token that is needed for these things is their native protocols token. So I think it would be really cool to provide with the community, with the art, and with the right tooling, provide this opportunity for individuals to branch out, do their own things, whether it's community based, whether it's profit based, whatever, and facilitate this using UToken, which different ways we discussed would be airdropped, but it would also be cool if individuals to stake their UDL NFT, and by doing that, it then produces or it unlocks X amount of the UToken up until a certain point in time when it's all been released. That's one of the things I think would be really cool. When it came to the Utes NFT community, one of the things I realized in there is that they have a lot of like people in the community are just making crazy, awesome like artwork, derivative artwork, videos, all this crazy, awesome content around Utes NFT, and how they were able to do that was through this community curated whitelisting or scholarship process, as they called it. And I realized it was quite genius because they killed two birds with one stone doing this. They were able to build up attention and hype, FOMO, around the collection before it was even released. It was very, very strong and powerful. I remember hearing about it first, felt like a year ago. I don't know exactly how long, but stuck out to me. And it also then, on the other hand, it made it to where out of this X amount of people that they essentially gave free utes to, that these people had skills which they were then able to contribute back into the community, which it's really just kind of helps it to thrive across social media because you see this active people tweeting all the time, sharing this awesome content. It's really cool and engaging. And that's a big thing that I took away from Utes that I want to incorporate with Utils and with Lil Nouns DAO. Very similar to Nouns DAO. It's just, I think a noun is like, God, I don't know, like $50,000, and I I don't have that, so I'm not getting a noun anytime soon. But a little noun is significantly cheaper, so snagged one of those. And it's the same idea. So you have individuals, they buy a noun NFT or a little noun NFT, and those funds go towards the treasury, and then the treasury is used. So anyone who holds an NFT can then make a proposal, and then the DAO can vote to fund that proposal. So I really like the idea there of just the treasury being used to bring ideas to life. So at least have a certain segment of the treasury, which in our case will be fueled from initial sales. Initial the first go around, and then also Udal's 2 sales, fueling up the treasury that way. And then also from like one of the things that happens with nouns and little nouns is, so like there's nouns, and when they made little nouns, what happens is like 10% of all of their sales goes to the nouns treasury. So establishing this system, so where there's UDL DAO and there's all these sub DAOs, and for the ones where it makes sense, there is some type of, whether it's 5% or 10% of revenue produced from that sub DAO goes back to the core DAO, and using some of those funds to continuously fuel the treasury, which a portion of can then be used to continuously fuel ideas that are proposed by UDL NFT holders and then voted on by UDL NFT holders. That's something that I also really liked and look forward to implementing in some style for UDL DAO.
Thank you, Dakota.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. And with that, I will say, with that, we're going to look at wrapping this up here. Gabe, is there any salutations you wanna share?
I just want to remind people again of the community event, and I want you guys to go check out the article that was posted, and also the article about the dual token economy, which in my opinion is amazing.
Which I do need to update some of the numbers there. I will say the tokenomics that were shared there were mainly meant as like examples because things weren't finalized at that point. So I will go back and edit that as well, along with the the IP nomenclature things I got to share, update as well. But all right, everyone. With that, I want to go ahead and sign off of here. I want to thank everyone who showed up. A huge thank you to everyone who came up to the stage and asked some questions. I really appreciate each and every one of you. It's also good to hear from some of you, and I look forward to seeing some of you hopefully here this month, if not next month. But like I said, it's a big month. It's a big week. by the end of this quarter, we're talking about a community sale, InvArch, crowd loan on Polkadot. I mean, we have a lot going on. Release of Saturn, getting that rolled out, working on the CDK, actually getting OSIF staking live on Tinkernet for real. Shout out to the 9,300 participants. That was amazing. And I will note, minus approximately 200 cheaters, still over the 9,000 mark. Really, really happy with that. I just want to note that and be transparent also. Really phenomenal numbers and turnout there. I mean, it smashed, absolutely smashed numbers across the ecosystem. So really grateful for that. But don't take it for granted. You know, we have a lot of stuff to do, and if we want to keep seeing numbers like that, then we got to keep on building and keep on proving the fact that InvArch is worth that. But it's thanks to everyone here. It's thanks to the community, and yeah, I'm always going to be eternally grateful for everyone here, because I mean, you guys have really helped to uplift and drive us all the way up to this point. So yeah, just a huge thank you to everyone, to the InvArch team, also to every single member of my team has been killing it lately. Absolutely amazing. And here's the next week. Here's the sale event, and here's the many months afterwards. Bring these awesome DAO solutions to the world. We're going to do this thing. But all right, everybody.
Thank you, Dakota. Thank you, Gabe. Stay awesome, guys.
Thank you, everyone, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. GM and GN to all.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you guys.
Peace.
GN, everyone.
GM.